Welcome, Cub leaders, to this version of February 2023 version of our Cub Scout Roundtable breakout. Today we have with us Seth Strohecker, Cub Master of Pack 261 in Trumbull, and I am Nathan Schindler, the District Commissioner for Pomperaug District, serving several towns around Bridgeport. Welcome to you all. Today's topic is den leaders, tips and tricks. And helping me out to guide you guys is Seth, the Cub Master, like I said, of Pack 261. He's an Eagle Scout and has served a variety of other adult volunteers roles in scouting. Pack 261 runs an active and successful program with around 50 Cub Scouts. They recruited over 20 new Cub Scouts this year. Most of the returning Scouts earned their rank and transferred 6 AOLs to a troop. And one of the reasons why 261 has been so successful is because they have active parent volunteers, including 6 den leaders. And so Seth's going to tell us a little bit about what makes their den leaders successful and how they, some frequently asked questions they have, and give us some basic tips and trips on the role. Anything else you'd like to tell us about Pack 261, Seth?
I don't think so. I think you covered it. We try and keep the kids active. We do lots of things to keep their interest. But yeah, I think you covered the good majority of everything. Thank you.
Great. So how do you describe, especially to a new parent that might not be familiar with the roles of scouting, the role of the den leader?
So den leader is literally the most important adult volunteer position in all of scouting. I was a scout when I was a kid. No recollection of who my Cub Master was. I have vivid memories of who my den leader is. The work of Cub Scouts is done by the den leader, so is the most important person in the pack. Kind of getting that through them is an important thing, and I do whatever I can to support the den leaders. When we're trying to recruit new den leaders in the year, we usually try and focus on the Lions because we usually have the other den leaders lined up. But what I do is I generally run the first 1 or 2 meetings so that the parents understand kind of the structure of the meeting and what's expected. And then at that point, I'll make an ask if anyone would be willing to do the volunteer. If I don't get an immediate ask, I have a piece of paper ready to go saying, here's the plan for the year. Every month is a different adventure on a different topic, and I show what the adventure is and what the topic is. I say every parent's got to sign up for 1 month. And then we have them run the meetings for that month. And then at the end of the year, we're like, hey, that was fun, right? Who wants to do it next year? So kind of slow roll them into becoming a den leader in my pack.
Okay, so that's great. You have a plan, you have the adventure, especially at the Lion level. And so when do you start that process with the Lions?
So our pack generally does 4 recruitment events throughout the year. So we start right after school starts. Actually, our first one is actually before school starts. Our first one is we all get together at the town pool, go swimming and have pizza. And then we have 3 more once school starts. And we generally go till about early to mid-October is our last recruitment event. So I generally, for the Lions, I don't hold a den meeting until that last recruitment event is done because I don't want to keep recruiting new people and have to catch them up. So I do my den meeting after our last recruitment event, like usually a couple days or a week after that. And so that takes us to about mid-October is when we start. And then I get them set up for 2 den meetings a month from there. And then in fact, our Lions this year just finished up all the requirements for the Lion badge this last week. So about this time of year, they finish up their Lion requirements, and then they can start working on electives.
Cool. So definitely some pre-planning on the Cub Master and committee some pre-planning helps to get that started and ease the volunteers and parents into the role and participating in a way that makes it easy for them. So
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so that really covers my question there about how you make being a first-time den leader easy on the volunteer. So that's great. um, so when you do that first kind of den meeting, where do you host that?
So it's been weird the last couple of years with COVID. So we've generally held them outside. There's a pavilion we meet at the elementary school where most of our kids are from. So there's a pavilion in the field behind the school. So we've met there for our first meeting, and then uh, we kind of transition into the school from there. We've got the cafeteria set up for pretty much every Monday. We're allowed to meet there, so get them moved into there. Sometimes the den leader will decide school is not the best place, and they'll hold them at their homes. But I've always liked the school because it's kind of a nice central location for everyone in town. It's a familiar place, and the kids are familiar with it as opposed to going into somebody's house and feel a little bit apprehensive. So I always like being in the school more than being in somebody's house.
Okay. And so do you have multiple dens kind of meeting at or around the similar time there on that
Yep,
Monday? Okay.
yep. We some Mondays are one den, but just last night we had three dens in and out throughout the night. So the Lions met on the early side, so they met from like 6 to 6:45 ish. I'm still a den leader because I like being the den leader, even though I'm a cub master. My den met from 6:30 to about 7:30, and we had another den that met from like 6:45 to about 7:45. We all were in the same building, or sorry, the same room. Uh, it was a full moon last night, though, so the kids were rowdy. Normally, that is not a problem, though. We're usually able to run 2 or 3 den meetings all in the same room. If it Last night, like I said, all the kids are rowdy. I don't. There must have been something in the Kool-Aid that day. I actually pulled my kids out into the hall so that we could focus for part of it because we were working on communication related adventures, so it was kind of important to keep their attention and not get distracted. So we have that option. We have like moved into the gym or the library in other scenarios if it gets too rowdy as well. But generally, it's not a problem having 2 or 3 den meetings going on at the same time. They're generally not bothering each other. So, and I actually think it works out a lot better that way too, because the kids can kind of see what the older kids are doing and keep the excitement going as well.
Great. Cool. Yeah, we do a lot of the same thing, and it also helps with having enough adult volunteers in a room. And if somebody can't
Hmm.
make it at one time, you can kind of double up and make sure you have enough registered leaders to keep things moving and
Yeah, absolutely.
and always keep the kids safe. So less a little less stress on the den leader too, because then they don't have to make their home do any extra preparations at their home or anything like that.
Yep, absolutely.
So cool. Um, so besides the pack calendar, the den calendar that you talked about with the kind of the den meetings sort of planned out in advance, what other resources are available to den leaders to help them be successful?
Yeah, so since I've been Cub Master, I've done a few things to help out my den leaders. So obviously, we do a pack planning meeting over the summer where we plan out the pack calendar, and then as part of that, I try and get the den leaders to pick days that they're going to be meeting as a den as well. And then I'll usually do follow-ups after the pack planning committee meeting, and I'll just sit one-on-one with a den leader and map out their their den calendar as well. So, October, you're going to do your outdoor related adventure. November could be, citizenship in the country. December is citizenship and the God, or sorry, not citizenship, duty to God, and so on. So we'll have that all mapped out throughout the year, so they kind of have a plan and that. And then another thing I've done is we make sure that all the den leaders have the den leader guide to plan out their meetings. I think that is a huge resource. I That's another
Do
thing
you,
I generally
printed
tell.
copy that, do you have a printed
Yep,
copy scanned around?
we have a printed copy, one for each of the dens, and then it gets passed down. Along with that, I when I took over as Cub Master, I got a nice, I don't know, 30, what is 30, probably a 20, of a big Rubbermaid container, like you would do storage in your basement. And I made one for each den. And I said, I gave all of my den leaders a budget. I think it was like $15 or $20 a kid. I said, buy whatever things you need to do to get your meetings going. And then it goes in there and then you pass it to the next person. So the den leaders next year will have all the resources available for them, and it'll help keep the costs down in the future. It's another thing we've done as well. And then personally, when I am doing my planning, in addition to just planning out what I'm doing every month, over the summer, I basically do like a one-page sheet that plans out every meeting, what we're doing, and I do that all over the summer, so I don't have to worry about it during the school, because summertime you have more time available to do stuff like that. Once school hits, there's no free time whatsoever. So I like to have all that stuff done beforehand, so that I don't have to worry about it. I literally just about a week beforehand pull up the sheet I did over the summer, refresh myself on what I did, get the supplies around, and I'm ready to go.
Great. Those are some great tips and resources for the den leaders. Couple last questions. One is, do you encourage your den leaders to be trained? And if so, why?
Yeah, before I turn in an application for anybody, they got to take YPT and den leader training. It's definitely important to make sure they understand, kind of the rules and guidelines, keep the kids safe, and not only keep them safe, but keep the kids engaged as well. Our pack traditionally hasn't done a lot of supplemental training other than myself, and I'm trying to fix that. So I've been encouraging my pack committee and den leaders and such to attend University of Scouting. I've been promoting Wood Badge, so I'm hoping we can turn the corner and getting more advanced training as well. So something we're still working on my pack, but I think we're making strides in that front.
Cool. All right, and then yeah, the last question I had for you is, what are some of the benefits for the den leader, a volunteer, of being a volunteer?
So I actually think being a den leader has got a lot of benefits. Like I said previously, I have been in scouting continuously since I've been 7 years old. So it'll be 32 years, 33 years now this year. I have fond recollections of my den leader, and I have zero memories of my Cub Master. So I think den leader is one of the few positions you can have that, with a kid, that they're going to remember throughout their entire life. I think den leader, sports coach, and a teacher. Those are probably about the only three positions you can have where a kid's going to remember you, when they're old, and still remember you fondly. So that's a great thing. But it also gives you a lot of good skills you can use outside of den leader. You have to be organized, and you have to work on communication. You have to be able to adapt. Those are all good skills that can translate into the workplace as well.
Well, great. Those were awesome tips for our den leaders, for Cub Masters, for committee chairs to think about how to make it easy for a new den leader, a new parent, to come in and be part of the organization and be productive and help and have a great year for the kids. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah. So just a couple of strategies that I employ. I always have some sort of activity ready for my kids when they come into the den meeting. Keeping them active, not just waiting around to start. I find that keeps them much more focused. I've had a few where I've not had those activities at the beginning, and getting them organized and engaged is a lot harder. So, you know, have some sort of game or activity available for the kids when they walk in. It can be related to the activities or the adventure you're working on that day, or it doesn't have to be. Either way works, but having something for them to engage them right away, I think, helps keep them focused as well. And then, I think other than that, just, have fun with it, because it's a fun job. And, if you have fun, that fun's going to translate to the kids.
Awesome. Seth, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your tips and tricks with our den leaders, new and old, our Cub Masters and committee chairs. They do a lot of work out there, and any little help that they can get to do their volunteering better and serve these scouts is awesome. So thanks, Seth.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.